Hey, folks, welcome to the program. This is going to be a special presentation. You may, entirely up to you, but you may, if you want, decide that you want to take notes when it comes to this particular episode. I'm going to go ahead and ask you right now, will you please share, rumble, like, follow, subscribe to this program? Because I'm going to tell you right up front that this program, I'm going to do it different than most, is going to catch a lot of flack. But in the U.S., the reality is the people are the ones that should be moving the system, and the people are the protection that anything needs. So you're totally transparent on everything that's going on, etc. You are the key. By the way, today's program is brought to you by the fine folks at Gold Co. I'm just asking you to go to jovanlovesgold.com and request your free gold and silver kit today, because now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver. Please do it. Something's coming. I've always told you something's coming with digital money. It's going to happen now. Let me explain to you a little bit up front about what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to keep this very concise and very short so it can be shared easily. We're now in a different evolution of this battle we've been on since the 2020 election to bring you the truth that happened. And I've started to release some forensic bombshells about the 2020 election proofs you've been seeing them on Twitter or otherwise. This is where the heads up of what happens next. Is it going to be more rumors and rage and retaliation? I'm telling you right now, with what's being released and seen, pay attention to those that either try to attack my team, attack the facts, or attack what happens. This is the time where the system ends up revealing itself, because you keep on having more data than ever. I'm going to give you the punchline right up front. Share this, folks. And I've already got my first thumbs down. They're already here. They're watching closely. Let me give you the punchline up front. When you look at all of our forensic data and the special technologies that we not only created, but patented to be able to audit elections, it all comes down, when you look at everything that was done, it all comes down, what are the statistical odds and probabilities that 2020 was, in fact, the most safe, secure, fair election ever run. Here are the odds. I'm going to give them to you right up front. This is what I would kind of call proof beyond a shadow of a doubt, but the odds are less than 1 in 10 to the 1.77 million zeros odd. That's the odds. We had to force mathematicians and systems to basically extrapolate the odds, because most people don't understand p-values, right? But they're called p-values, not to be confused with p-caps or p-bullshit. These are called p-values. It basically means you have the number 10, and then behind it you have 1,770,000 zeros. To state it to you in an analogy, it is more impossible than every particle in the universe spontaneously rearranging itself into a perfect copy of you, and doing that every second of every day since the Big Bang, and then doing that over again and again a trillion times. If you could wave a God hand, take every particle, create you, boom, and now you've got the rough chances of you, you know how that is, and created a twin of you, it would be as rare as that happening, but that happening every second of every single day since the Big Bang occurred and then being able to replicate it again a trillion times. All evidence show the pattern that happened in this election, what we've detected, did not happen by chance. It is the mathematical fingerprint of an algorithm inserting ballots, one per precinct, and perfect rhythm. And that is the exact final probability from 100% of your cadence data. Now, the reason I give you that, elections are supposed to self-audit themselves. It's how they're designed. None of it stands alone. And it's when you look at all the different ways, that the different paperwork, the different steps, they're all supposed to cross-correlate to each other. They should all end up with the same thing. And I know when I put that up there, and I know you read it, there's quite a few of you going to say, so you mean there's a chance? Well, it takes dumb and dumbers, and there's a bunch of chicken shit people out there when it comes to what really happened in 2020. The bottom line is, if we don't fix what happened, because now we know what happened, our nation's over. So I'm going to take you through a very fast tutorial. A very, very, very fast tutorial. This algorithm comes because we can take our 10 basic disciplines that we created, and they all cross-correlate to each other, and then are supported by another 10 that validate those on a one-on-one basis. One of the very first things that I taught when we started talking about the 2020 election, as I talked about the calibration of the ballot. It's that little plus sign and that little target. It kind of looks like this. Everybody told me I was nuts. I'm used to that. Everybody told me the printing didn't matter. I was used to that. But if you were to look up into the top right-hand corner, the bottom left-hand corner of any printed ballot, on one side, you see the thing that looks like a scope, if you've ever hunted. On the other side, you see that little plus sign. That is why we had to backlight the paper. When you saw all of the very paper inspection tables, and they had to set these ballots down a very special way, this was part of the process we were doing. I want to remind you, this is the difference between what we did in the full forensic audit in Arizona, looking at every single ballot in excess of 2 million, versus the biggest one to date, which ironically was kinematic as well, looking at the movement. That was the hanging chads debacle in 2020 that looked at what, 40,000, 50,000. This is a big thing. So I just want you to get familiar with this. Just get familiar with this one thing. When you see the yellow circle, that's our systems. The red is our targeting. When you see the blotchy stuff, that's the paper. You see one that's in darker black, that's what of those targets happen to be on the front side of the paper. It's going to appear darker. On the back side of the paper, it's going to appear lighter. We did this for every single ballot. Now, what we're looking for, I'm going to show you. Now I'm going to teach you something so I can train your eyes for a moment, okay? The system with Sharpie Gate says Sharpies will not make your vote not count. That's a lie. Well, we never said that. It's about temporarily suspending your vote. They also said, well, if a ballot's out of calibration, watch this one. Where's the plus sign? Do you see it? This is perfect. This is the signature of an official ballot